Hi guys, it's Kiarko here, back with another speed build. This is a speed build of a castle wedding location for a fairy wedding. This is kind of a complicated build. I have to explain kind of what the concept is. Basically, I had this idea for this fairy kingdom in which, you know, a young royal fairy couple is getting married officially, and they're having like this very grand but also very like private and exclusive wedding at this like kind of floating castle location where they have like these special like magical artifacts and stuff like that, but we'll get into that as we go along. The more I described it, I realized that sounded a lot like a Barbie movie for some reason, you know, just like the fairy castle wedding kind of deal. So maybe it's a little bit Barbie inspired, I don't know, but I do end up really liking how this looks. I tried very hard with the exterior. I tried to make it look very grand and complex and complicated with like all the greenery and stuff like that. I include like a waterfall feature in the front. I really wanted to make this seem very like wow, like when you like fly in as a fairy, like wow, this is I'm finally here, the castle, it's beautiful, look at that. Like I just wanted it to be very like grand for this fairy wedding, and of course it's a royal wedding, right? So it should be very grand. It should look very I don't know, just beautiful and big and expensive and just very fairy-like and magical and stuff like that. So here I'm just setting up the waterfall in the front. Earlier I said that the castle was floating, kind of, and what I mean by that is it is on this floating platform that eventually I'm going to put this like cave tunnel system underneath. So it kind of looks more like it's on top of a mountain than it is like floating. But then you'll see later there's like two sides that branch off that are floating due to like fairy magic. So it's like a half floating, half not floating castle, which is kind of complicated to explain without you guys seeing it, so just keep a lookout for that as we go along, but that's basically what's going to happen. But here I am just like pulling out random like debug items from the debug menu. As I usually do with large builds like this, it's easier for me to just go through the debug menu all at once and just pull out the things that I'll think I'll need later, rather than like keep going back to the debug menu, because as you guys know, the debug menu is like super, how do I explain it? It's just like not user-friendly. Like there's no way to filter it, the objects aren't named, you can't copy the objects with the eyedrop filter, so like anytime you need more of something, you have to go back and literally find it through like hundreds and hundreds of other items, which can be like very frustrating sometimes. And I wish that they added in an update that kind of updated the debug menu a little bit, like a way to filter it at least, or if they renamed the objects or made them like copyable, that would be super helpful for builders. I think it would be a lot less slow for us to use the items from the debug menu. Unless there's like something I'm just like totally missing here about the debug menu. If you guys know any tips and tricks on how to use it a lot easier than the way I'm currently using it, please let me know. But as far as I know, it's just like a complicated, it's like sifting through like a huge pile of content that you have no way of organizing or copying. It's just frustrating. But that's my little spiel about the debug menu. But so as you can see, I'm like going through the whole menu here, just putting in the things that I think that I'll want. That's me like testing out for a second if I want caves under. I do end up putting caves there. I had this idea of all these lanterns in the waterfall base as like some sort of fairy ritual where they put lanterns in for the married couple or the, you know, the engaged couple. It's kind of like a good luck marriage present thing. I don't know. Like I came up with all these different ideas about like fairy rituals and, you know, fairy religion, I guess, like the different things that they believe in, the different little magic things they do, their culture basically. I just kind of came up with this fairy culture, so had this idea that they put it in these lanterns for wedding ceremonies as like a way to wish the couple good luck. So that's what that is at the base of the waterfall. Obviously if this is like a waterfall, the lanterns would be like, I don't know, like crashing with the waves of the water, but you know, I'm gonna like imagine that there's like fairy magic over this waterfall that makes it very calm, you know, more like a trickle down stream, less like a very intense waterfall, if that makes any sense. But here I'm just like putting on my greens around this area. I will like repeatedly come back and put more and more greenery just around this area, so like Even if it looks like there's not a lot here, there will be a lot later on because I just kept piling on top of the greens and the trees just because I really wanted to look like a forest location. I'm just putting in random stuff right now. This isn't very organized. I hope you guys are following this pretty okay. I'm kind of hopping around a lot. I tend to do that with complex builds because I just keep having new ideas and I have to like get them out before I forget about them. So I'm just like, oh, caves. Okay, let's put down the caves. So here I'm putting in the caves. The idea for the cave system is that I had this idea that if the wedding is for like a fairy royal couple, maybe they have, you know, diplomats and friends who are not necessarily fairies, who really couldn't actually fly to the top of this little mountain thing because they wouldn't have wings. So it'd be like, you know, trolls or like any other like humans, like any other non-flying magical creature that's attending the wedding could come up into the castle through this cave system underneath. So there's like stairs in there or something like that. That's what I imagined. That being said, I don't believe I actually build in a staircase top in the castle. So you're just gonna have to use your imagination there that's like what that's for. And also I just thought it looked cool, you know? I thought it looked cool, you know? Why not? Put around all those hanging ivy flower things around the edge of this mountain thing. Just because I really like the way it looked like draped over the side. I really liked, I don't know, I just really like how it looks when it's like draped like that. It's very like flowy and magical. Definitely reminds me of like fairies. Putting in rocks around the side. Thought about having a little staircase thing here to like a back area. Ended up scrapping that. I had enough to build already and I just wasn't feeling that place. So deleted the staircase. I'm just going around the edge with stones and rocks right here. And this is just to make the edge look a little bit cleaner, a little bit more planned, steady and sturdy, that kind of thing. And then let's see, what am I doing? More rocks. This took forever. Like, I was placing rocks for a very long time. It's very sped up here, so you guys don't have to see, but I was definitely doing that for like half an hour. Putting in more rocks just to block off the area that you can see underneath. This is just for realism, so it looks more like it's on a mountain. And then I'm just going to, let's see, what am I doing now? Oh, I'm building a little platform for these bridges to connect to. So these are the floating platforms. And on here is going to be like, you know, I'm not going to spoil it. You'll see what's going to be on there. It'll be a little fun surprise for you guys. But these are floating platforms that are going to be like special places that aren't necessarily the part of the castle. And I like them floating because I felt, again, like it's very magic and very, you know, sacred and beautiful, and I don't know, I just like the idea of floating things. I did a similar build a while back. I mean, it wasn't similar. The only similar thing I think was the concept. But I did a build a long time ago, actually, like a few months ago, where it was just like a fairy house, and what I did was it was just like a floating lot with a little house on it, and it was actually very cute. But that was kind of inspired a little bit of this with the floating lot idea, because, you know, fairies don't need stairs, so they probably build their things floating to just fly up to. So it's kind of a concept I've used or I've had for a while, but I just implemented a little bit more here, and I really do like how this build turns out, and I hope you guys do too, because this was so much work. It was so much work. Like I can't explain how hard exteriors are for me to do. I don't know why. I just sometimes have brain problems doing them. Like they stress me out. I love doing them. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm not complaining. Like, I love it and I love getting better at them. I just think there's like so much more to worry about with exteriors than with interiors, because with interiors you just have to worry about, you know, walls, floors, furniture, windows, doors, that's it. But with exteriors there's like so much. Like, there's greens, there's like terrain painting, there's terrain movement, there's water features, there's, you know, just like a lot more stuff you can do, which is great because it's very freeing and it's very I can be a lot more, what's the word? I can try a lot more weird ideas in exterior builds. Like this, for example, is a very weird idea and it's like all exterior. But it's just like a lot harder to do, but I enjoy it. It's fun. Here I'm just setting up the castle on top of here. putting in, let's see, trying to choose my doors. I ended up going with the doors and the windows from the Realm of Magic pack because it just made the most sense to use that because it's the most like fairy magic looking kind of windows, kind of, you know, like look at the stripes. It just looks really cool. I like it. This castle looks whack for like a minute, so you're gonna have to wait. It looks cool later on. It just took me a while to figure out what I was doing. So just let it look bad and it will look good by the end of it, I promise. I'm putting in, let's see, this little like, I don't know what you call it, like a gallery? You know, like a gallery area, like in a theater? What's it called? Like a upstairs area where you can look down into the downstairs area. It's just like extra seating. I don't know, we'll get into it later on. Putting in my roof here. By now I was like, wow, this looks so bad. Like it's just like this huge block with this really weird roof. And I was just feeling kind of like lost. I was like, what am I doing? I don't know what this castle's looking like. A little bit of a jump there because my footage messed up. Not my footage, I messed up with my screen cap stuff. So a little bit of a jump there, but you didn't miss anything. I just put in a little thing in the front. But here I'm putting in, let's see, trying to figure out what I'm doing. Let's see, putting in my walls, I believe, yeah. Again, this is not the final look. It doesn't look half bad right now. It just doesn't look what I was going for with like the castle feel. You'll see I'll add some stuff that makes it look good, don't worry. Let's see, putting in different beams, I think. Yeah, I like these beams better because they're like columns, and I don't know, I like the column look. It looked a lot more like royal and grand rather than like wood beams, if that makes any sense. Putting in different wallpaper, different trim. Let's see. Just messing around with trim here, putting in wallpaper, messing around with wallpaper, trying to find my color palette. As always, I very much struggle with color palettes sometimes. Let's see. Yeah, I'm just experimenting here. I'm just trying to figure out what I'm doing because I definitely was not feeling the castle at this point and I couldn't figure out what was wrong with it until I realized it was more of an architectural problem than a color problem. Put in this glass ceiling, which I thought was very, very pretty, puts in a lot of light on the inside, and I just think it's this gorgeous, like, complicated, like, lace pattern on the glass. I just think it looks so pretty. Deleted the roof so that, you know, you can see inside and the light will go directly inside, and then I'm going to put in more columns, more trim, more wallpaper. Let's see. I think about here's where I figure out what I'm gonna do. Let's see. Yeah, here. I was like, okay, you know what? I'll put in these like, what do you call these? They're like castle features. I don't even know what you call them though. Towers, I guess. And then I put them on all four corners, and it starts looking more legit here. Still not fully there yet. I need to change some color choices, but definitely I feel like this choice upgraded this a lot. Like it felt more castle-y, kind of even like church-like, which works for like the whole marriage thing. Change the wallpaper, change some windows. You can see it's starting to come together here. So that move definitely saved this build a little bit. Not saved it, but just like I feel like definitely improved the look of the castle. Thought about putting in ivy on the walls. I didn't feel it very much. I liked like the openness of the windows. Thought about putting in all these little balconies on these windows, but that would have taken like way too long, and I just wasn't feeling the way they were looking. I didn't think it was worth it to do, so end up scrapping those little balconies. Then here what I do is I put these like two trees on either end, and my concept for these trees is that it's like they're yin and yang. Like these are very like sacred trees to them, and each tree like represents like a different different side of the same coin, I guess. Like for them, it's like the balance of life are these two trees, and it makes sense that they're trees because they're like fairies, right? So I feel like nature has strong like magical elements for them. And I like that the trees were on the floating platforms because that to me gave the idea that the reason that these platforms can float is because the magic of these trees is so strong. It's just like a very sacred, holy place for them that just like floats. I don't know. That was my concept. I hope that works for you guys. It's kind of abstract and weird, but I don't know. Definitely sounded like a Barbie movie at this point, but those are their sacred trees is what I was going for. Anyways, putting in, let's see, more stuff. Let's see. But Yeah, with the trees there, what I kind of imagine that this location usually is, because in this particular situation, it's being used for a wedding. But when my idea was like when a wedding is not here, it's just like a sacred holy place that's very nearby, like perhaps like the royal castle where the actual royal family lives of the fairies. But this is more like their sacred holy place where they have like weddings and special ceremonies and like stuff like that. That's just kind of what I imagine for this location. Yeah, I put a lot of thought into this. I don't know. For some reason, I just like was really getting into fairy culture here. But yeah, so this pink tree, I imagine, is like their all-time, like the holy tree. Like this tree is like very sacred. It's like the oldest tree of all time. It's like the tree that like gives fairies their magic. It's like the sacred tree. So it's on the inside of this church, and I imagine it's like where people come and like, again, they have their very sacred ceremony. So their weddings are here. Maybe their funerals are here, perhaps. Maybe it's where they do, I don't know if they do like baptism for babies for like their fairy religion, but maybe they baptize the babies for like the tree, like the tree god. I don't know. You know, fairy religion, you know. Here I'm choosing my wallpaper. This is gonna be like the main area for the fairy wedding ceremony. And then the gallery upstairs is where extra guests will stand and look down at the wedding ceremony. As you can see, there's no staircases because again, the fairies can fly up to the second floor to stand there, so they don't need a staircase. And like I said before, the cave system underneath that leads up to here, you're just gonna have to use your imagination. That somehow the humans and the trolls and the other non-flying magical creatures can get up here somehow. You know, use your imagination. This build is definitely a stretch of the imagination. Putting in little fairy statues. Those knights I put in everywhere, I imagine are like enchanted knights that will like guard the tree and the holy ground, and like if something happens they like spring to life and they like defend the area. So those are like magical knights, kind of like in Harry Potter, you know, like those magical statue guys they have in the last movie or the last book, you know what I'm talking about? Yeah, anyways. Putting in some portraits, some paintings that I thought could be like paintings of very famous fairies or famous royal figures, something like that. Curtains, and then let's see, what else? It's almost done with the build. I think, yeah, I'm just gonna put in some greens around here just to make it look more in the middle of nowhere, more like it's in a, you know, dead ass in the middle of a forest. Yeah, I think that's the rest of the build, just me putting in greens just to forest up this place. Yeah, anyways, guess what? We hit 170 subscribers this morning. That's amazing. Like, I checked it and I was like, wow, like, that's a big number. Like, damn. Thank you guys so much for, I don't know, just like listening to me and supporting me and commenting and talking to me and just like being so amazing and very nice to me and very sweet and very creative people who have your own ideas and you tell me them and it turns into random stuff like this. And it's just, I don't know. I just really appreciate you guys, and I don't know, just keep doing what you do and keep, you know, recommending things for me, keep commenting things. I'm always there to talk to you guys. I love talking to you guys, and I'm very grateful for everything you guys do for me. Yeah. Anyways, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.